Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Here are your neighborhood stories we're covering this hour on Chris 6 Sunrise.
Getting ready for hurricane season. I'm Tari Spoon, your Robstown neighborhood news reporter, talking with the Public Works Department about how they're helping neighbors prepare with sandbags.
It's the end of an era for a Corpus Christi classic. Chacho's Tacos is shutting its doors for good. I'm Alexis Scott, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side, serving up one more round of memories of those tacos.
Coming up, hot plates, hospitality, and a whole lot of heart. Del Mar College is cooking up a lot more than just good food. I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on the South Side, and I'll show you curtain students and one who has made her own path.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 News Sunrise, and thank you so much for waking up with the Hoffmans today. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. It has been a great week, right? Sad but true, it's almost over. But hey, not over quite yet. We're going to be bringing in our master meteorologist, Stephanie Lauber.
Good morning.
Just going to talk about the weather in a little bit, right, for any Easter egg hunts. But first, traffic. How's it going?
Oh, yes. We are talking about a pretty interesting commute. Usually, we got the benefit of being in a smaller town and don't deal with much traffic. Let me make sure I didn't just jinx that. But the weather is actually impacting our commute so far this morning, especially for those of you who might be heading out just about anywhere. It is so windy out there, y'all, and it's going to continue to be windy throughout today. Our sky cams have been many contenders for the shaky cam, not just the First Community Bank camera. But this morning, the commute over 181 is only going to be a tug of war situation with the steering wheel for drivers. No traffic out that way. Coming down 37 or across 44, same deal. Not seeing any slowdowns at this point, even with that crosstown interchange. If you're moving out and about across Corpus Christi, no major slowdowns to report. Even the commute to NAS Corpus Christi is a smooth one. Drive times there up around 30 miles per hour. This stretch of SPID looks good. The rest of the bluff is quiet this morning. And if you're heading out along the island, same deal with the JFK Causeway. Going to have a little bit of that tug of war with your steering wheel, so just reduce your speed. Be ready for that as you head out into the neighborhood. Be mindful, there's probably going to be some tree limbs out in the roadways you might want to dodge. Reduce your speed and take it slow this morning. As you head out, make sure you stay safe and drive safe. I'll be back with your weather on the 6s in just a bit.
Steph, thank you so much. We're going to be checking back in with you in a little bit. But as I mentioned, it's a great Friday today, right? It's also Good Friday. It's a time when Christians come together to remember the death of Jesus. In Rome, the Pope will hold a procession known as the Way of the Cross to honor the day. And over in Jerusalem, worshipers are gathering to walk the path through the old city that the Bible says Jesus carried a cross through on the way to his crucifixion. Back here at home, volunteers with the Easter Sunrise Passion Play invite neighbors for a walk with Jesus. Neighbors can meet at 4 p.m. over at the Olander Point Park to take part in this walk.
We have an update about the Creekside Elementary student who brought a knife to school Wednesday afternoon. Police say the student was not a threat and it was an accident that a knife was brought to school. A parent of the student notified school staff that a steak knife was in his lunchbox. In a press release, though, Creekside Elementary said the student used threatening language, but police clarified that the student was not a threat.
I'm Alexis Scott, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side.
There you go.
A friendly face and a hot meal. That's not all Chacho's Tacos has been serving up for the community. Known for their tacos, home-style breakfast, and massive challenge plates, Chacho's Tacos isn't just sizzling here in Corpus Christi. Magazines like The Bend, the Austin Chronicle, and other Texas platforms have recognized the Coastal Bend staple.
As Chacho's Tacos prepares to close their doors on May 2nd, the owner, Mary Gutierrez, tells me it's not just the end of a business, but the end of a beautiful chapter. On the West Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News.
Hurricane season is only 1 month away. But the city of Robstown is helping neighbors prep for storms. I'm Tari Spoon, your neighborhood news reporter, where city leaders are showing me how these sandbags could help prevent damages. As was the case in June of 2024, Robstown city leaders helped residents prepare for hurricane season. Residents picked up sandbags to get ahead of a storm, but the storm never hit. Fast forward to this year, Robstown is doing it again, considering how often the streets flood.
especially here, like because we have a couple of areas that are flood zones. So
FirstStreet.org, an organization focused on researching climate science and engineering, did a study detailing 4,426 properties in Robstown at risk of flooding, affecting nearly 90% of all properties in the city. The city's Public Works Department and Oasis County Drainage District 2 workers are giving out sandbags to help protect homes and businesses.
usually we set up a spot somewhere, either here at the yard or somewhere else. And then residents just drive by and we throw them in their trucks, back of the cars.
Bob Mata estimates 1,000 bags are given out each year to help ensure the safety of everyone in town.
A lot of residents have these older houses that are very low. So, it helps them out a lot. A lot of businesses also, because, once it gets wet, everything starts corroding, mildew, stuff like that, which is going to cause more problems.
Bob Mata tells me city leaders will announce when and where they will give out the sandbags. In Robstown, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tyrese Boone, Chris 6 News.
Howdy and happy Friday, kicking off this Good Friday into the holiday weekend with a lot of wind. And for drivers out along SPID and most other roadways here in the Coastal Bend, you're going to be doing a little bit of a tug of war with the steering wheel. Give yourself some extra time this morning, because I found in my neighborhood, you might find a few small tree limbs or palm fronds out in the roadways. You're going to want to be careful with what the weather is trying to play tricks with us today. And that includes that haziness that's coming in on that south-southeast wind as well. So here's a look at how conditions are faring in your neighborhood. Temperatures are very warm this morning. We are all in the 70s. And it's not just a breezy morning for coastal neighborhoods. Yes, 26 mile per hour sustained wind at CCIA. That's not a gust, it's constant. 15 miles per hour in Rockport, 17 in Beeville. Alice, your wind speed, one of the lighter ones, down to 10 miles per hour, the temperature of 74 degrees. Plenty of layers of clouds out there, and we're even seeing haziness here at the ground level. So visibility in Rockport down to 6 miles of visibility, 7 in Port A, 8 in the Bluff at NAS Corpus Christi. Give yourself some extra time on this Friday, y'all. We are going to be dealing with this wind throughout today. Wind advisory was in effect yesterday. There will be one in effect for today, and it will go until 9 o'clock tonight. This is expansive. It's for much more of the coastal bend this morning. All these counties shaded here in this yellow color, because we're expecting those south-southeast winds to continue to be between 20 and 30 miles per hour, sustained, gusting around 40 miles per hour during much of the midday to afternoon time frame. I'll show you that hour by hour gust forecast in a moment. But here's how this is going to impact you on this Friday. Small objects will likely blow around, as you may have found yesterday. Driving can be difficult. That's the tug of war with the steering wheel that I'm talking about. The wind, when it gets gusty, can make it difficult to keep your lane too. And small tree limbs could break. Not only would you find that out in the roadways, but don't park under any suspicious or fickle looking trees. You might end up with a new design on your car you didn't ask for. All right, going through the midday afternoon hours, wind gusts around 40 miles per hour for a good chunk of this Friday, and it's going to be another loud evening with those wind gusts up and at them through the overnight. So heading into tomorrow, because we're going to continue to have this wind direction with us, more of the same. Another warm start tomorrow morning, topping out in those middle 80s with very windy conditions still, but we are going to see things taking things a bit down a notch. So the one thing that will not be going down a notch, this humidity. It starts to peak as we go through Sunday into Monday and levels out into next week in very humid conditions. So here's how your weekend is going to go, starting with today. By noon, layers of clouds, filtered sunshine, much like yesterday. Into tonight, that will continue to be the case. I think we stay dry. Saturday, some models are suggesting at little stray showers. I'm not biting on that part of the forecast, but we do need to talk about what happens after we wrap up Saturday night and head on into your Easter Sunday. Is the church forecast going to be a wet one or a dry one? And will you be hunting for more than Easter eggs? Let's find out coming up in your 7-day forecast and your next weather on the 6s.
All right, still ahead on Sunrise. Are you looking for something excellent to do this weekend? Well, you are in luck. We have a look at all the events happening in your neighborhood on this week's Coastal Bend Weekend.
Plus, believe it or not, President Trump is threatening to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Coming up on Sunrise, we're going to be checking with Scripps News Group and Nathaniel Reed to find out if the president can even fire Powell. Welcome back, everyone. So President Trump is threatening to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, as I like to call him, Papa Powell, for not cutting interest rates fast enough. The comment came a day after Powell delivered a warning about the effects of Trump's sweeping tariffs on the economy.
Now we have Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed joining us live this morning. Good morning, Nathaniel. So Powell's term expires May of next year. Does President Trump actually have the authority to oust him?
Good morning, Michelle and Brian. Well, that is something that is untested. While the president, by law, is able to fire a Federal Reserve board member or the chair for causation, it's never happened before that a president has fired a chairman of the Federal Reserve simply for a disagreement about the interest rates. Now, Powell's comments earlier this week came as President Trump is still looking to enact some of those sweeping tariffs that we've seen. He's already enacted massive tariffs on goods from China, raising the cost of a lot of consumer goods, fast fashion coming over from China, now more expensive. Some of those companies announcing earlier this week that they were going to raise prices. So a lot of questions about what could potentially come next. President Trump, though, ramping up his attacks on the Federal Reserve Chairman, saying this yesterday at the White House.
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
And again, President Trump wants those mortgage rates lowered, those interest rates lowered by the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who up to this point has refused to lower them since President Trump took office due to economic uncertainty. There's a lot of questions that if the Federal Reserve Chairman is fired, that could really lead to some serious instability in the markets, that could send a lot of investors on Wall Street scrambling, concerns about the economic health and stability. If interest rates are lowered, the reason that Powell is keeping them high, that could create not only instability in the markets, but also potentially lead to a recession, something that Powell has previously warned about. Again, a lot of questions about whether President Trump will follow through on that threat to remove Powell as the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Again, he was President Trump's own picked Federal Reserve Chairman during his first term. His term was later renewed by President Biden. Now he's up in 2026, but questions about whether he will last that long and if we could see a lawsuit if he is dismissed early.
Well, Nate, thank you so much for the information, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Yeah, we appreciate it, sir. Have yourself a great weekend.
Hey there, good morning. We are waking up to an area where kind of morning winds, very breezy out there, and we are all in the 70s. So a lot to deal with weather-wise this morning, and I'm sure you're probably wondering about that Easter forecast because we've been talking about rain. I've got you covered. Let's dive into what's happening right now in your neighborhood. A lot of yellow and green on the map here. So temperatures are warmer along the coast, but not by much. We're in the middle 70s out that way. 74, 75, take your pick because those are the readings that we're seeing in those coastal neighborhoods. But as you move inland, for the most part, temperatures start to drop off. We're looking at 73 in George West and San Diego, 70 on the nose for our neighbors waking up in both Hebbronville and Freer, and a little bit warmer, Kingsville, waking up to 79 degrees right now, feeling like 82. A little bit of influence there from Baffin Bay to keep things warm. Now, today is off to a windy start. As you might imagine, it will remain windy throughout today. So we've already got winds sustained around 20 to 25 miles per hour for some of these coastal neighborhoods, dropping down to around 15 miles per hour as you move away from the coast. We will all see windy conditions picking up again as soon as we move past sunrise. For that reason, there is a wind advisory in effect again today that'll remain in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. South-southeast wind, so that warm and humid direction, expected to be between 20 and 30 miles per hour, at times gusting to 40 miles per hour. And look at how expansive this alert is, ranging from the Victoria Crossroads down our coast and inland toward the brush country. So watch out for loose objects flying around, difficulty while driving, that tug of war with the steering wheel while you're driving, and small tree limbs that could be out in the roadways, or if you park under the wrong tree, perhaps ruining your Friday. We don't want that, so please be careful. Wind gusts will pick up around 40 miles per hour, not during just the afternoon, but by the late morning, midday, and throughout the afternoon into the evening time frame. So much of today, during the overnight, winds come down a little bit. Not by much. And that wind direction keeps things humid as we move into the weekend and will carry us well into next week. I think the peak of the humidity generally comes Sunday into Monday, but it's not the wettest forecast for us, thankfully, because many of us have an Easter egg hunt to attend to, right? So here's what to expect in your neighborhood as we go through today. Layers of clouds means we'll be dealing with filtered sunshine for today. We'll carry the clouds into this evening. Again, heading into tomorrow, same deal, a much cloudier start. And while this model is trying to throw some rain into our Saturday forecast, I'm not putting all my Easter eggs into that basket just yet. I think the bulk of the rainfall that will actually impact your weekend plans is going to be on Sunday. And here's the timeline for that. Once you move into the early morning hours on your Easter Sunday, I think heading to church, maybe a spotty shower here or there. We should be good for the first half of the day. It's once we move into the late morning, lunchtime time frame, we'll see some showers in our northern coastal neighborhoods, but also a line of showers coming in from the San Antonio area. They will be spotty in nature, but we'll be dry and sunny along the coast during that time, heating us up. Sea breeze moves in to meet that line of showers and keeps the rain in the forecast. So by the afternoon, showers inland, expanding across the coastal bend through the evening hours. And Monday, I think, looks even wetter. So we'll take a look at how that forecast evolves over the next couple of days. But here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Warm, windy, and showers coming into the mix for Easter Sunday.
Still ahead in our 20 minutes of non-stop news, what neighborhood restaurants are keeping it clean and who needs to clean it up? Our own Andy Lascano has the answer for us in Kitchen Cops.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on the South Side. Del Mar College has expanded its culinary and hospitality programs. Chef Villanueva tells me the program combines classroom knowledge with practical experience. He says students train through simulations, including a la carte meal prep with a real-time deadline. From tortillas inspired by family to Michelin star dreams, these students are proving that preparation and passion go hand in hand. On the South Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, Tony. Hey, stay tuned for our 20 minutes of non-stop news to see Tony's full story about Del Mar College's culinary and hospitality program. So let's send things on over to Master Meteorologist Stephanie Lauber. Has a look at the roadways this morning. Hey, good morning, Steph. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? So let's get those drivers up and out the door. We are looking at a hazy and shaky view from the First Community Bank camera. Traffic moving smoothly, but word of advice, reduce that speed so you can have a better time out there on the roadways. This isn't the only shaky camera. At times our SPID camera, let's see, yep, there we go. A little shaky from this one too. So please be careful. We want to make sure you have a nice Friday ahead, right? Here's a look at the roadways. We're not seeing much for delays at all. 361 Park Road 22 and the JFK Causeway make for a nice ride in from the coast. No slowdowns. That's also the case at NAS Corpus Christi with speeds up around 30 miles per hour. Waldron Road and Flower Bluff Drive relatively quiet for this hour of the morning. And as we make our way across town from the south side up into the Bay Area, it's a breeze, quite literally. The move up the Crosstown Expressway, interchanging with 37, is problem-free, as is that commute over 181 in the Harbor Bridge between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi. So no matter where you're headed this morning, as you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. I'll be back with another check on your forecast with your weather on the 6s.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Hey there, good morning. This is the view from our Snoopy's camera this morning. We are feeling very, very soupy. Air you can wear, definitely the term for the day. And as Brian likes to call it, pea soup. That's what this view looks like from here with the glowy lights and that haze out there. So please be careful. Weather is going to slow you down a little bit with the morning commute. So let's dive into what's happening in your neighborhood right now. Today's weather alert is going to be for the wind. A wind advisory in effect until 9 o'clock tonight for all the counties shaded here in yellow. So let's talk about how that will impact your Friday, because as you're making your morning commute, you're probably already aware that it is very windy. But this is also going to be an issue for the ride home. So we expect south-southeast winds to be very, very gusty, 20 to 30 miles per hour. That's the sustained wind. Gusts higher than that, and that period in which we expect those strong gusts will be for much of the day. So loose objects will be blowing around, as you may have noticed was the case yesterday. Driving will be difficult at times, especially over bridges and overpasses. SPID, the JFK Causeway, Harbor Bridge. Tug of war with the steering wheel. The best bet for that is to reduce your speed. And even as you're heading out this morning, small tree limbs could break in these kinds of winds. I know leaving my neighborhood this morning, I saw palm fronds and small tree branches already in the roadway. It's dark this morning. We're just waking up. Give yourself some extra time before you head up and out the door. But yeah, again, these winds will be around until tonight, so be ready for it. Also, be ready for the warm temperatures outside. You don't need the sweater at all. Middle 70s along the coast, lower 70s inland, and even a few warmer spots, 76 in Robstown, pushing 80 in Kingsville, feeling like 82 once you factor in the humidity this morning. So the wind is definitely responsible for all of this. South to south-southeast winds, very gusty along the coast, and also for those in the neighborhoods, we are just getting started. After sunrise, that will pick up even more. So I think the period where we expect the strongest wind gusts will start early. Say around 10, 11 a.m., starting to see those wind gusts up around 40 miles per hour and lasting through about dinner time. So pretty much anything you're doing today to prepare for the holiday weekend, this wind is going to be disrespectful and it's going to be a challenge. But we stay breezy during the overnight. Same wind direction continues to keep our humidity on the up and up. We will stay windy not only through the weekend, but even into next week where our rain chances continue. So for the Easter holiday weekend, today on Good Friday, we're going to be warm, 87 for that high temperature and very breezy, a mix of sun and clouds. We expect that on Saturday too. I'm not really thinking we're going to have much problems or opportunities for rain tomorrow. It's Sunday in which I'm concerned for that rainfall. Temperatures will be a little bit lower and that wind will be less problematic as well. Won't have any Easter eggs blowing around, but will you have to search through puddles for them? Here's that answer. We stay dry through today with that mix of sun and clouds. That'll also be the case as we head through the Saturday time frame, even though there could be a stray shower. Again, very low confidence in that on my end. Heading into Saturday evening, just clouds. If you're waking up early on Sunday morning, maybe you're heading to church, a stray shower, yeah, that's not out of the question, but I think the bulk of the rain will be around lunchtime or later as a line of storms comes in from San Antonio. Notice we're clear and we're going to be pretty warm. A sea breeze is likely to pick up, and where those two meet, that's where some showers could kick up along the 281-77 corridors by the middle of the afternoon. Showers lasting into the evening hours. So this won't be an everyone is washed out forecast, but you do need to keep an eye on the radar. This rain will last into Monday and next week. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Warm, humid temperatures carry us into the weekend with showers coming back for Easter Sunday and better rain chances into next week.
Coming up after the break, the weekend is almost here, and we have lots of exciting events going on in your neighborhood and all across the Coastal Bend.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hey, Chris 6 Sunrises, we want to wish you a great day today. Enjoy it.
And of course, that right there was City Manager Peter Zanoni. Thank you so much for that shout out. We hope you have a great day too. Folks, if you want to send us your shout out video as well, make sure you scan the QR code on your screen or head to our website, christv.com.
Now, the local events and fun things to do. It's Coastal Bend Weekend with the Hoffmans.
Well, hey there. This Coastal Bend weekend is going to be packed full of sweet treats, and we're not just talking about the candy.
The best part about it, you don't even have to hunt because we're listing all the events happening in your neighborhood.
First, let's hit up Calallen.
On Saturday, all eyes will be on the sky for the Church of Hope's helicopter egg drop.
The Easter Bunny is trading hops for helicopter blades, soaring high above to rain down a storm of colorful eggs for families to snag.
You'll also find bounce houses to jump into the fun and food trucks to fill your basket and your belly.
The event runs from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and those high-flying egg drops, well, they happen at 11:30 and at 1.
Now, if you're still hungry for more egg-citing events this Easter weekend,
crack open our website for a full list of activities.
Feeling the beats, you can experience euphoria this weekend at the K-pop exhibition in the Bay Area.
KP Vibes Entertainment and the Texas State Museum of Asian Cultures are teaming up to turn up the volume.
The Emerald Beach Hotel will be bursting with performances, music, dance, and all the K-pop energy you can handle.
It is a family-friendly event running from noon to 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Prefer something positively peaceful peaceful, the Gulf Coast Humane Society's Read and Roll Over is back.
It happens every third Saturday of the month from 11:30 to 12:30. All ages are welcome to read to the sweetest audience around, adoptable pets hoping for their forever homes.
And for a spiritual start to your Sunday, the Passion Play returns for its 83rd year.
This Coastal Bend tradition takes place at the Cole Park Amphitheater beginning at sunrise, so around 7 a.m.
Bring your chairs, your blankets, and an open heart. Organizers say you'll leave blessed and deeply moved.
And of course, folks, if you want to know what's hopping in your neighborhood, you can visit our website, christv.com, for a full list.
And hey, if you have something going on yourself, let us know about it. It might show up on a future Coastal Bend weekend.
It's a lot of pressure on me now to make sure that the weather is going to cooperate for your weekend plans. So let's get right to what to expect in your weather planner for the Easter holiday weekend. Kicking off Good Friday on a very windy note. Disrespectful winds in the forecast, sustained 20 to 30 miles per hour from that warm and humid south-southeast direction. Gusts to 40 miles per hour expected. This will be in effect until 9 o'clock tonight for most of the coastal bend. But our wind gust forecast shows that the gustiest part of the day is going to be a good chunk of the day, from the late morning through the early evening. And even tonight, still very breezy. Wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour, at times a little bit higher. So for the holiday weekend, here's what to expect over the next 3 days. Dry and warm today and tomorrow, but the rain comes back for Sunday. It's going to be very widely scattered in nature, so I don't think it ruins anyone's weekend plans for those Easter egg hunts, but you do need to keep an eye on the radar as showers will be moving around the coastal bend. Not everyone will see all of the rain at once, and accumulations won't be very impressive. Now, next week we have even more rain chances continuously through the bulk of next week.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Well, hey, good morning, everyone. To start off your 20 minutes of nonstop news, here's a live look from our own station, Skycam. Looking at downtown Corpus Christi. It's very thick air out there. Stephanie said air you can wear. You can definitely feel the moisture out there. We're going to be checking in with her with the rest of the weather, plus a look at the roadways. But first, on to some neighborhood news. So back in 2002, Joe David Padron was convicted of a double murder. It's a story that I myself brought you about a year and a half ago. He was sentenced to life behind bars, yet he has always insisted that he is innocent. Well, on Tuesday, more than 20 years after that conviction, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals set aside that sentence, saying that Padron was convicted based on false testimony. Now it's up to the district attorney of Hidalgo County to determine whether Padron's case will be retired. Thursday, Padron and his attorneys, including those with the Innocence Project of Texas, who were really leading the effort to get his case to this point, they all reacted to Tuesday's ruling exclusively to us right here at Chris 6 News.
I feel very tired. Not so much stressed anymore. I've already gotten over that. My levels of stress have gone down. You know what I mean? I almost got the death penalty.
We see so many injustices that are not corrected, or it's okay if this injustice happens because this person doesn't matter. That's how we start to feel, that injustices don't matter. And when you get a moment like this, it's gratitude and relief, and thank goodness, like finally somebody heard us. Somebody heard Joe David.
Yeah, Joe David Padron, he was behind bars for 21 years before being released on bail back in 2023, and that's when we picked up the story. And he's 50 years old now. There is not a set timeline for a decision to be made in his case. Chris 6 will stay on top of any further developments in this story. Be sure to report them back to you on air and online.
This restaurant behind me has been a staple in the Corpus Christi community for over 24 years. But soon, the grills here at Chacho's Tacos will go cold. I'm Alexis Scott, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side, taking a look at what it means to say goodbye to a Corpus Christi icon.
There you go.
A friendly face and a hot meal that's not all Chacho's Tacos has been serving up for the community.
Chips, I'll get you some.
Mary Gutierrez is the owner. She and her family have poured their hearts into this small West Side business for more than 2 decades. The memories, Mary says, are more than what she could ever fit inside a single tortilla.
It's sad, but that's what I'm going to miss is our customers.
Known for their tacos, home-style breakfasts, and massive challenge plates, Chacho's Tacos isn't just sizzling here in Corpus Christi. Magazines like The Bend, the Austin Chronicle, and other Texas platforms have recognized the Coastal Bend staple, with the news of their doors closing. It likely won't only leave many stomachs empty, but many hearts as well.
We hate to see her go, but it's been a long run for her, 24 years, and we've been through half of it here at this location, and we always look forward to getting it's usually breakfast here and on the weekend, but we're going to miss them.
It's very good. We're gonna really miss it.
Mary says the person who owns the building plans to sell. As for she and her son, she hopes to find another location, but so far, no luck. As Mary serves her final customers, she's holding tight to the gratitude that's been returned to her tenfold.
Something that I wanted to do, and my dream came true. Thank God for our customers that we've been successful.
As Chacho's Tacos prepares to close their doors on May 2nd, the owner, Mary Gutierrez, tells me it's not just the end of a business, but the end of a beautiful chapter. On the West Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News.
Hurricane season is only 1 month away. But the city of Robstown is helping neighbors prep for storms. I'm Tyrese Moore, your neighborhood news reporter, where city leaders are showing me how these sandbags could help prevent damages.
FirstStreet.org, an organization focused on researching climate science and engineering, did a study detailing 4,426 properties in Robstown at risk of flooding, affecting nearly 90% of all properties in the city. The city's Public Works Department and Oasis County Drainage District 2 workers are giving out sandbags to help protect homes and businesses.
Bob Mata tells me city leaders will announce when and where they will give out the sandbags. In Robstown, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tyrese Boone, Chris 6 News.
All right, happy Friday to you. For drivers on SPID here, we are playing tug of war with our steering wheel every time we go over those overpasses, the humps on SPID, bridges and overpasses like the Harbor Bridge, the JFK Causeway. So wind is going to be a big part of our weather story today and carrying us into the weekend. You could even say next week too, because rain is going to be the end result once we get past these disrespectful winds. So let's talk about what's happening right now in your neighborhood. Have a look. Temperatures are warm this morning. We are looking at lower 70s for inland neighborhoods, middle 70s for most of us, and even a few warm spots. Kingsville reporting a temperature of 79 degrees this morning. A south wind at 20 miles per hour responsible for that. All right, visibility, it is hazy out there because it's humid. It's an air you can wear morning. We get down to 5 miles of visibility in Port Aransas this morning, so not overly problematic. The wind is definitely the bigger obstacle, but give yourself some extra time this morning and slow down. We will have a wind advisory in effect today through 9 o'clock tonight. It expands throughout most of the coastal bend as winds are really going to be kicking up. We expect those gusts to be around 40 miles per hour for a lot of today. So ways that will impact your Friday. Loose objects are going to be blown around. You probably found that out yesterday. So if anything you didn't secure, it's up for grabs by the wind today too. Driving can be difficult. That tug of war feeling I'm talking about when your car gets blown around in certain gusts, reduce your speed to make that an easier situation out on the roadways. And be careful with small tree limbs. They're likely to break in this wind. Not only finding those tree limbs out on the roadways like I did this morning leaving my neighborhood, but don't park under any suspicious looking trees you don't feel too safe about. All right. Easter is this weekend. We have a lot of holiday plans. So what do we expect over the next couple of hours? Well, if you're going for a dog walk, or is this a bunny walk? Sammy's all dressed up and decked out for the holiday. We are looking good. A mix of sun and clouds, feeling warm. The wind is really the only obstacle for today. It's going to be sustained around 25 miles per hour for the morning time frame here in Corpus Christi, but the gusts, those are going to pick up early and stay around 40 miles per hour through at least dinner time, coming down a little bit tonight. So that's why we have the wind advisory until 9 o'clock, because look, very blustery. But That wind direction is warm and humid. It keeps us with the layers of clouds and the warm feeling well into tomorrow. We'll still start off warm and top out in those middle 80s. What about Sunday? A lot of folks want to know what that is going to be like. So carrying us through today, dry, mix of sun and clouds. Tomorrow, dry, mix of sun and clouds. Some of these models are trying to put a few showers in on Saturday. I don't take that bet. I think our rainfall forecast will be focused on Sunday when a line of showers starts to move through. Not during the morning. The ride out to church is just fine. But around lunchtime, that line of showers will start to move toward the coastal bend. Meanwhile, we're sunny and warm. Sea breeze is going to meet that line of showers between the 281 and 77 corridors and kick that off for the middle of the afternoon. Keep it going through the evening hours, and we'll have better rain chances into next week. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. I think Easter is going to go off without a hitch. Just keep an eye on the radar this weekend.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
In the 6 things you need to know, today is Good Friday, a time when Christians remember the death of Jesus. In Rome, the Pope will hold a procession known as the Way of the Cross to honor the day. In Jerusalem, worshipers are gathering to walk the path through the old city that the Bible says Jesus carried a cross through on his way to his crucifixion. Now back here at home, volunteers with the Easter Sunrise Passion Play invite neighbors for a walk with Jesus. Neighbors can meet at 4 p.m. at Oleander Point Park to take part in the walk.
Well, today is the last day to reserve a campsite for this weekend over at Labonte Park. So the campsite fee is $28 for up to 3 days of camping per campsite. RV campsite fee is $55, maximum of 1 campsite and RV campsite request per person. Reservations will be accepted until today at noon. So the clock is ticking there. For more information, you can call up 361-826-3460.
So some of your neighborhood parks are making changes to their entrances because of construction. West Guth Park has a new roundabout at its main entrance that opens today. If you visit the park, follow the signs marked in the area. Labonte Park has a single entrance and exit because of ongoing construction.
So we do have an update about the Creekside Elementary School student that we told you about yesterday who brought a knife to school on Wednesday afternoon. So police say that the student was not a threat and it was an accident that the knife was even brought to school. A parent of the student notified school staff that the knife was in his lunchbox. So in a press release, Creekside Elementary said that the student used, quote, threatening language, but police clarified that the student was not a threat.
The city is inviting neighbors to a District 2 town hall meeting. It will take place Thursday, April 24th from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Greenwood Senior Center. Now, some of the topics up for discussion include Public Works, Corpus Christi Water, and the Corpus Christi Police Department. The Greenwood Senior Center is located at 4040 Greenwood Drive.
So your Corpus Christi Ice Rays, well, they are getting ready to face off against the Shreveport Mudbugs in the playoffs, of course. The Best of 5 series kicks off tonight in Shreveport. Game 2 is on Saturday. The Ice Rays head back home on Monday for game number 3. And if needed, game 4 will be over at the American Bank Center, with game 5 back in Shreveport.
All right, drivers, as you're heading out on the roadways, look at this view from the SPID camera. At times, this becomes a shaky camera too. It's windy, it's humid, and we have some haziness out there, so give yourself some extra time before you hit the roadways. You may even find a few small tree branches or palm fronds out in the roadways you'll want to avoid. Let's go to the roadways now and show you what's going on. If you're traveling over 181 between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi, we've got no trouble to report. It's a smooth ride. Coming down 37 or across 44, equally a smooth ride. Look at this, the crosstown extension. No slowdowns to report right now. I think a lot of folks have already taken this Good Friday off. From the Bay Area down to the south side, no slowdowns to report. As you head to NAS Corpus Christi, though, we do have a few slowdowns, but it's right as you're approaching the gate. We're around 10 miles per hour for that speed there, so just be aware, temporary slowdowns there. Waldron Road, Flower Bluff Drive are also looking good, as is that ride out along the island all the way up 361. So as you head out this morning, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. I've got another update on your forecast and your weather on the 6s.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on the South Side. Del Mar College has expanded its culinary and hospitality programs. I stopped by to check it out, and I'm also speaking with the grad who owns her own cooking class business.
Is this yours or Kiara? This is yours, Kiara? Your shrimp? Okay.
Chef Israel Villanueva is a culinary arts instructor at Del Mar College.
Yes, what we're doing is we're expanding. So before we were a restaurant management program, and we fell under business administration. So now we're culinary and hospitality program. And then also the hospitality program, that's going to expand.
Chef Villanueva tells me the program combines classroom knowledge with practical experience. He says students train through simulations, including a la carte meal prep with a real-time deadline. Jose Chavarin has been in the program for 2 years.
So we're doing a simulation of what it would feel like if you were in a restaurant with a 15-minute ticket window. But we try to do it a little bit sooner so that we actually have the real feel for it.
Michaela Matalone graduated from the program in 2023. She now owns the Corpus Christi Cooking Club and credits the program for her success so far.
They have a program in one of their classes. They actually allow you to practice putting on like a service for the public. So I really, really love doing those because I actually got to interact with the public and see what they thought of my food.
Matalone tells me she believes a strong local culinary scene is crucial, especially for a tourist destination like Corpus Christi.
So if we're not producing the proper chefs in hospitality industries to meet that need for amazing food experiences, then Corpus Christi is not going to grow.
From tortillas inspired by family to Michelin star dreams, these students are proving that preparation and passion go hand in hand. On the South Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Now, your Chris 6 Kitchen Cops Report.
Yes, it's time for this week's Kitchen Cops Report. Andy Lascano has the scores from City County health inspectors for the week of April 7th through the 11th.
Among this week's perfect scores, the Barton Street Pub on SPID, CC Donuts on Eberhart, Cullen Place Elementary on Belmead, Domino's Pizza on Airline, Haas Middle School on McCardle, La Fresa Homemade Ice Cream on Southport, Peter Piper Pizza on Southport. It's only their second 100 from inspectors and their first since June of 2018. Since it's corporate, the manager needs approval to speak to us on camera, as well as permission to put the sticker on the front door. Congratulations to Peter Piper Pizza. Also earning 100, Saigon Civet Cafe on Airline, Stinger's Coffee on South Staples. On this week's B list, Los Altos Mexican Restaurant on Southport, 6 violations, score of 88.
Hey.
Sorry, tripped over the box there.
We were just getting excited because
Yes,
our producer Cassie gave us these beautiful cascarones.
Yes, which we'll have more on this in a little bit. But first, we've got to talk about the weather for any of those egg hunting festivities, right?
Well, thank goodness that we're not going to be doing any Easter hunts today. And if you are, sorry if I just spoiled this, but the wind is going to put an extra challenge. Go to grab the egg, wind blows it away kind of deal. So, yes, there's a lot to talk about in the forecast. I'm going to try to put a bow on it. But I do want to just say, bottom line, your Easter plans are not ruined. We just need to be kind of careful. So let's start out with what's going on right now. The business. We have a wind advisory in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and that is encompassing much of the coastal bend. So have the wide view for yourself. We expect those wind gusts to be up around 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting to 40 miles per hour during the day, and it's a good chunk of the day. So taking your four-legged friend for a walk. Maybe it's a bunny, maybe it's a pup. Maybe it's just Sammy. We love the picture here with the peeps and the cascarones. We love it. Thanks for sending that in, Sammy's mom. But we are going to have a nice walk today, no matter where you're going around the coastal bend, as long as you don't mind the wind. So the bunny ears might fly away. Please be careful. Our temperatures are going to be very warm, getting to those middle to upper 80s today, depending on where you are and how much sunshine you get, because it's going to be filtered through many cloud layers, and that wind just really steals the show here. It's taking center stage. Wind gusts, as I mentioned, they're going to be up there, but this lasts for much of today, from the late morning hours through the evening time frame. So that's why the wind advisory goes until 9 o'clock tonight, because that's when we start to get some relief from those strong winds. Now, for tomorrow, a lot of Easter egg hunts happening on Saturday. I think we're still good. Windy and warm. The winds won't be quite as problematic on Saturday. We'll be on a downward trend with that. And we'll still top out in those middle 80s before it's all said and done. Do expect that filtered sunshine through many cloud layers too. But again, I think the rain holds off until Sunday. So here's a look at that forecast. If you're getting up early for church, clouds, don't think we'll see much for rain. Perhaps a quick spotty shower as we go through the mid-morning hours. But the action comes around lunchtime. A line of storms will be coming from San Antonio. Meanwhile, we are sunny, warming up, and that is going to kick off a sea breeze moving inland. Watch as like this invisible line, boom, meets up with that line of showers between 281 and 77. So that'll trickle showers by the mid-afternoon hours from Beat County down through Jim Wells County, and kind of keeps going as we head into the evening time frame. This is where we'll likely hear a few rumbles of thunder, so keep that in mind for your Sunday plans. They'll still be good, but you got to keep an eye on the radar. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. We will have warm weather continuing into next week. Rain kicks in for your Easter Sunday, and the best part about this forecast, aside from the fact that we can still have our weekend plans, is that rain is going to last into next week, and we really need the rainfall. So that is one huge benefit for us here. But yeah, that's the best I could do for the forecast. I hope it works out for everybody's plans.
Yeah, we'll appreciate it. And push comes to shove, you bring some egg hunting on inside, or just hold off until that subsides, right? So speaking of eggs, this is the coolest tradition ever, right? So talk to me why we do this real quick.
Because you are doing a great job, Brian.
I think you are doing a great job, and you are doing a great job.
I didn't break. Hold on. I'm not a violent person.
Yes, on Monday it's because we didn't clean up the mess well enough. But hope you guys have a great one. We'll see you then.
Let me like tap it.